here we have started with how to detect and correct the things. And in that particular process, we have understood that, okay, so what are the types of errors are there which we need to understand. Okay, so when we are going to look at what are the types of errors are going to be there, where we are going to, we had discussed it that we are going to have the two different types of errors. Okay, one is the single bit error and another one is the multiple error. Okay, this is the single bit error which we have seen that how it is going to be done. Okay, and then we are going to call it as burst error, that is nothing but more than one error. Okay, so now here single bit error which we have discussed this. Okay, so the same thing how it is going to be happen, so from the sender to receiver, and then in the bit length of that particular thing, how many bits are going to be changed, that we have discussed that burst error. So this we have discussed it as a part of the types of errors which we are going to have that. Okay, now how we are going to detect this particular thing? Whenever you want to detect it, so we need to send some extra information. Okay, see, the central concept in detecting or correcting errors is redundancy. So please, dear friends, this is a very important one. You have to understand that redundancy is going to play a very important role. If you want to detect the received data is correct or not, if the whatever the sender has sent, the same thing was received by the receiver or not, if you want to do that, you need to you need to verify it. When you want to verify it, some extra bit of information you have to send it. Okay, so by using these particular redundancy bits only, we are able to detect our correct errors. Okay, so that is nothing but we need to send some extra bits with our data. Okay, oh, extremely sorry, because I'm extremely sorry. Before we are going to continue the session, let me just download the attendance. Today I forgot. Okay. Extremely sorry, extremely sorry. So someone has to remind actually. Okay, so let me download the attendance first. Okay, 5:45 left. Very intelligently, after I have taken the attendance, he has left. No problem. I will. What we will do in a sense, I will refresh it again. Now, if anybody is leaving, so that may not be a problem to us. Okay. So I hope 5:45 left. So removed him from the attendance. Now let me download the attendance. Okay, absolutely. So I'm downloading the attendance. Please save it. Okay, thank you. I have saved it. Okay. I hope after taking the attendance, one more has left. Okay, anyhow, I will cross verify. So now here we have discussed that how this burst error is going to be there, and so here we are discussing that whenever you want to do that, you need to send some extra bit of information. These redundant bits are added by the sender and removed by the receiver, which we have discussed that. Okay, this is a very important point. We have discussed that. Then when we are going to look at the detection versus correction, when we are going to look at the detection versus correction, okay, so now here very important way is detecting is easy whether the error is there or not, but the point is correcting is going to play a very complex thing. It is little difficult. Okay, even if anybody, if you are going to ask that to tell that whether any error is there or not, to tell it is easy, but in that huge amount of data, when you are going to get a complete zeros and ones or okay, all those things, where exactly the error is there, that will be the very difficult task. See, the correction of error is more difficult than the detection. Okay, so in the error detection only we are going to look at, okay, looking only to see if any error has occurred or not. But in the correction, it is not the case. You have to detect whether error is there or not. If the error is there, where exactly that error is there, and then we need to correct that particular thing. Okay. So in this particular answer, so when we are going to say that a single bit error is the same for as an a burst error. If you are going to say that correcting of that, okay, so when single bit error is there, detecting or burst error, both are same, okay, but when it comes to the correction, detection purpose, anything is okay, okay. So, but in error correction, we need to know the exact number of bits that are corrupted, okay. So even if one bit is corrupted or burst error more than one bit is corrupted, that we can say that, okay, error is detected only, okay. But in the correction, it is not like that, okay. If it is corrupted, okay, how many bits it got affected, whether it is only one bit or whether more than multiple bit, and which position it is, and all, okay. So now here, when we are going to look at that, if we need to correct one single error in a 8-bit data unit, we need to consider 8 possible error locations. Okay, so if we need to correct 2 errors in the data unit of the same size, we need to consider 28 possibilities. Now, please try to understand, dear friends, this is what exactly the very important concept of this particular correction. Okay, so very, very important part of this. Okay, so you can imagine the receiver's difficulty in finding 10 errors in the data unit of 1000 bits. Now, if suppose, as I mentioned, that when you huge data is there, out of that huge database, okay, only 10 errors are there, and in which positions are there, how you are going to find? Don't worry, I'm going to explain you and all those particular things, okay. And then, so here we are going to use the different thing like FEC, forward error correction, versus retransmission. This is something which we have discussed, that ARQ techniques, we have discussed something like ARQ techniques, which we have discussed it. Okay, but anyhow, still automatic repeat request whenever error is there and you need to do a retransmission. Okay, see, there are two methods, two main methods are there in error correction. So one is the forward error correction, is the process in which the receiver tries to guess the message by using redundant bits, and how it is going to be happen, we will see that. And if the number of errors is small only, this is going to work FEC. And whenever the correction by retransmission is the technique in which the receiver detects the occurrence of an error and asks the sender to resend the message. Okay, and resending is repeated until the message arrives to the receiver believes is error free. Now this is, as I'm mentioning, that ARQ technique. Okay, so this is how exactly the forward error correction and versus retransmission is going to be happen. So under this, in the forward error correction, what we are going to do in the sense, we are going to use the coding techniques. Okay, so now how we are going to achieve this redundancy? Redundancy is achieved through various coding schemes. What are those coding schemes? Block coding schemes, linear coding schemes, and convolutional coding schemes. In the previous class, I have explained to you that, okay, we can divide the coding schemes into two broad categories. What are those? Block coding and convolution coding. And convolution coding, we are not going to discuss, more complex and beyond the scope, okay, but we are going to discuss the block coding techniques. Under the block coding techniques, what we have seen, so now here if we are going to come back and if we are going to look at that, see, so the structure of the encoder and decoder, what we have done, we said the encoder and we have discussed the model message generator and message plus redundancy. You are going to send that redundancy bit and you will send it, and at the receiver side, it is going to perform a checker function, and then you will do that, okay, correction on that. Okay, so here we are going to discuss the modulo arithmetic. So as I have explained that modulo arithmetic, when we are going to look at that, so this is the thing which we have seen. Whenever the two are the same bits, the result is 0, and whenever the two different bits are there, the result is 1. Okay, so this is how we have discussed about the XORing, and how this we have discussed the modulo arithmetic we are going to use in the error correction. Okay, so where we are going to use that particular modulo 2 arithmetic, and so this okay, in the Hamming distance which we have discussed that, okay, we will come back to that. Then we came to that, after discussing of the things, we have come back to the block coding. So in the block coding, what we said in the block coding, majorly we are going to use n is equal to k plus r. Means we are going to use the data words and code words, and we are going to convert the data word into code word. This is a thing which we have discussed, that when we are using this, okay, k bits, and each k bit is going to be used as a data word, and then which is going to be converted. For each k bit, we are going to add a redundancy bit to make it into the n is equal to k plus r code word, and these code words we are going to send in, and that is the example which we have seen over here, example how it is going to be happen. And then we are going to checker function. In the checker function, we are going to do what? So in the table which we are going to discuss, we are going to look for the valid code word. We are going to look for the valid code word, and if it is a valid code word, we are going to accept it. See, this is what we have discussed. If it is a valid code word, we are going to accept it. Otherwise, we are going to say that it is error, and we are going to say that. Okay, and this is what exactly, and this we discussed that. Then, so as there we have taken a consideration that error detection can detect only the types of errors for which it is designed for that. Okay, then we discussed that how the correction is going to be done, and in the correction what we said, okay, we have taken the same example, one example we have taken, we are going to look at the distance. Okay, so normally you should have only one particular difference when you are going to have these code words. Okay, now you are going to take the Hamming distance of that particular thing, and if it is having more than 2 bits, see, this is the Hamming distance between two words, is the difference, number of difference between the corresponding bits. Now here when we are going to look at the example, okay, see, this is what exactly, once again, if you are going to look at the example, so now here 2 is there, 2 different bits is nothing but, now that is a error. See, the coding, comparing the received code word with the first code word, there are how many differences are there? See, here when we are going to look at that, only one difference is there, one bit is corrupted. But here it is showing how many bits corrupted? 2 bits. So first one is not correct. Then it is going to look at the third and fourth one in the table. That is also same, 2 bits is coming. So, but actually how many bits are corrupted? Only 1. So now when you are going to look at that, so the third one, it is going to have only the 1 bit is corrupted. Now that 1 bit over here, you are going to look at that. So now here the receiver replaces 01001 with 01011 and consults the table to find the data word, that is the 01, which we have discussed that. Okay, so this is what exactly is happening. This is going to be find it out. Okay, so this is wrong, and this is also, it is going to take wrong, and only this is there. And when it is going to look at that, only this particular code word is going to give the Hamming distance correctly with 1 bit only. So that is the reason. So we are going to say that yes, the Hamming distance is only for that particular thing. Number of bits are corresponding. So we are going to do that. So how we are going to find this? Let us, okay, look at that. Let us find the Hamming distance between 2 pairs of words. When you are going to look at that 000 only the 2 bits were different. So the that this is going to be called as the excuse me. So the Hamming distance of this particular thing is 2. And when you are going to look at this, now here 1 1, so 0 1, this is the 1 bit, and 1 1 is not there, so 0 is the 1, and then 1 0 is this. So now here 3 bits were different, so now I can say that the number of bits, okay, so in the, see, when you are going to do XORing of these particular two, when you will XORing of these particular two, in the result, the number of ones are there, that is going to be known as the Hamming distance between that particular data word. So dear friends, everybody have understood what is the Hamming distance? Please post in the chat. Everyone have understood about Hamming distance? Okay, Sai Harshita, Hamming distance 528, you have understood. Okay, 532, 544, 531, 539. Everyone, please respond. Good. Because why I am insisting this particular thing, in the sense, this our next discussion, this Hamming distance is going to play a very important role. Okay, so fine. So now here we have discussed about this particular, in the error correction we are discussing. Under the error correction, so we have discussed that how we are going to use the Hamming distance. One example which we have seen, okay, by looking at Hamming distance, how we are detecting it, and then how we are going to correct it. See, now here the 3 ones are there. Now we will come back to that, the minimum Hamming distance. So, okay, now to correct it, or what are the things which we need? What are the minimum things which we require? Okay, now here, if you are going to look at that, see, the central point in dealing when you are going to look at that with the error detection or error correction codes, the measurement that is used for designing the code is minimum Hamming distance. Now, the minimum Hamming distance is the smallest Hamming distance, okay, between all possible pairs. Now, let us have a look at an example now over here. See, what we are telling that the minimum Hamming distance. See, I'm not talking about Hamming distance now. I'm talking about minimum Hamming distance. What is the smallest Hamming distance between all possible pairs in the set of words? Let us take an example of this. Okay, when you are going to look at this 5 example, here you are going to have 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, 1. So all these things, when you are going to look at that, each one is going to get how much difference, Hamming distance when you are finding 2. So I can say that the d min is 2. Another example, look at now here, if you are going to look at that. So here I got 3, here I got 4. So there you are going to say that, sir, all you got 2. So you are saying 2. But here when you are going to look at that, there are different things for there. So in this particular thing, so your d min is 3, which is the smallest. So once again, please read. The minimum Hamming distance is the smallest Hamming distance between all possible pairs in the set of words. Okay. So now this is the minimum which we are going to talk about that. Okay. Then, so now here, what is going to be happen? So d min is 2, and second coding scheme, when you are going to look at the d min is 3. Now the ultimate, our main intention here, you can come to that Hamming distance and error. Now here, when we are going to look at, see, this Hamming detection, when you are going to use, it will give you the guarantee of detection, to guarantee the detection of up to S errors. In all cases, the minimum Hamming distance in block coding must be d min is equal to S plus 1. Your friends, please try to understand. If you want to detect any error correctly in any case, in all the cases, then the minimum Hamming distance must be in the block coding technique, d min is equal to S plus 1. So now here, if we are going to look at that, see, the minimum Hamming distance for our first code scheme 10.1 is 2. Okay, previously we have discussed the table. Okay, so now this code guarantees detection of only single error, because what we said, so d min is equal to, okay, d min is equal to S plus 1. Okay, so now here your d min is 2. Now the point is, now here I can say that S is 1 and 1 plus 1. Now that is nothing but only it is going to be used for single error. So for example, if the third code word 101 is sent and one error occurs and the receiver code word does not match any valid code word. Okay, but if 2 errors occur, however, the received code word may match with a valid code word, which we have discussed in the previous class. Okay, so now here, if you want to look at, you can have a look at again. So in this particular thing, okay, so see, this is the table which we have taken over here, 10.2. Okay, and according to that, okay, sorry, this one, okay, 10.2 we have taken, and then here we are going to look at that. If suppose the 2 bits were changed, you are going to get a valid code word. Okay, so but that is the reason in the previous class I have explained that this is majorly is going to be used for 1 bit error detection. Okay, so that is what exactly we are supposed to understand that. So how it is going to be happen. So this is a very important things we have to keep it in our mind. Dmin is equal to s plus 1. Then when you are going to look at our second block code scheme, okay, where you are using the dmin is 3. Dmin is 3 is nothing but which just now I have shown the example. Now here you can have a look at that. This is what exactly we have find all the Hamming distances, and then we said the dmin is 3. Okay, so these are the differences which we are going to look at that. So if you are going to look at that particular thing, so this code can detect up to 2 errors. Why? Because dmin is equal to s plus 1. Hamming distance guarantees the error, so it can detect up to the 2 errors. Okay, so when a valid code word is sent, 2 errors create a code word which is not in the table of a valid code word, so the receiver cannot be fooled. So now here, does some combination of 3 errors change a valid code word to another valid code word? So the receiver accepts the received code word and errors are undetected. This is a very important point. You have to understand that whenever you are using the dmin is equal to 3, you must be in a position to understand that. Okay, so this is how exactly which is going to be happen. You are always, your dmin must be greater than yes. That is the reason s plus 1 we are going to talk about. Okay, so now see here, when you are going to look at that, sometimes whenever if it is happening that any valid code word is going to be there, but this is any corrupted code words with 0 to yes errors, it is going to be placed in this particular region. Okay, so this is beautifully explained in your this particular concept. You can have a look at. Okay, so this is how exactly is going to be happen. Then so now, so a code scheme has a Hamming distance dmin is equal to 4. Now, what is the error detection and correction capability of this key? Now, if suppose I am going to give a dmin is equal to 4. Now you have understood what is dmin, how you are going to do in a particular given code word table. Okay, so all the differences, all the data words and code word differences, so you are going to get minimum, whatever the minimum is there, that is the dmin. Okay, now here when you are going to look at that, so now error detection and correction capabilities of this key. So when I am talking about a 4, now normally I can write that s plus 1 is equal to, that is nothing but s is 3 1. So that is nothing but it can detect up to 3 errors. Okay, so this code guarantees whenever Hamming distance of dmin I am taking it, so this is going to the guarantee the detection of up to 3 errors, but it can correct up to 1 error. Okay, so this is the only one important point which you can understand that, because some of the time, so that's what we have discussed, that whenever more than one particular bit is there, 2 bits are there, sometimes the 2-bit error is going to create another valid code word. So whenever it is a valid code word is there, your checker function is going to check that, okay, and it is going to say that it is a valid code word and you are going to accept that. Okay, so now here if you this code is used for error correction, okay, so part of its capability is wasted, because error correction codes need to have an odd minimum distance. That's what I am telling, that even number of things it's not going to work that. Always if it is odd, it will be good. So 3, 5, 7 like that. So now in this particular thing, we have understood that your Hamming distance is one of the scheme can be used to detect and can be used to correct 1-bit error, but not for that. Now dear friends, so here if you are going to look at your error correcting codes, okay, so in the error correcting codes, now here you can have a look at that. So 4 different error correcting codes were there. Out of that, 1 we have already completed. Okay, Hamming code. Then we are going to look at now linear block codes. We are going to look at linear block codes. See, almost all block codes used today belong to a subset of linear block codes. Now, what is the difference of linear block code and linear code? Now here we will look at that. Okay, so in the block code, what we have done, we have converted the k into n. K bits, each k bits we have converted into n bits by adding r bits, redundancy bits. Okay, now here what we are going to do is, a linear block code is a code in which the exclusive OR of two valid code word creates another valid code word. Okay. So now, based upon this, how we are going to do that, we will look at that. So minimum distance for linear block codes, what we are going to take, and we will look at that. See, in linear block code, whenever you are going to do XOR of two valid code words, always creates another valid code word. This is a very important point you need to note down and you need to remember. Okay. Don't get confused. Two valid, I am making it. Two valid code words will create another valid code word. Now, or how it is going to be happen. Let us have a look at an example. I have already told that you need to keep those tables 10.1, 10.2. So now when you are going to look at the table 1, 10.1, okay. So the result of XORing any code word with any other code word is a valid code word. Okay, so if you are going to get a confusion, don't get confused. So that is what we have shown. So the number of ones in the non-zero code words are 2, 2, 2, and also minimum having distance is 2. And in our second, the minimum C is 3 and 4. So the code is minimum is 3, which we have discussed that. Now here, if you are going to ask me a question, sir, how it is going to be happen, let us consider the two valid code words of your table 10.1. Okay, let us take a 0, 0, 0, okay, and then you take 1, 0, 1. So what is the things you are going to get? 1, 0, 1. 101 is a valid code word. Now let us consider you take another valid code word 101, another valid code word you take 110. So 101, 01, 1, 110. So 011 is a valid code word. Now you are going to look at that, no? So whenever you are going to XOR the two valid code words, see, I have taken this and this. When I'm doing XORing of these two, okay, I'm going to get another valid code word, okay, 011. Now, dear friends, this is a very important aspect which you need to keep it in mind when you are going to use the linear coding, okay. So now here, I hope maybe it is clear now. So this point is now this point is clear for you people, yes. So now when we are going to look at how we are going to do this, okay, so how we are going to do that. So now here I would like to tell you one important point. Please everyone note down that. Everyone please note down from here. Three types of redundancy checks are common in data communication. The detection methods: parity check, cyclic redundancy check, and checksums. Please note down. So I hope everybody have noted down. So let us look at the parity check, simple parity check when we are going to look at that. See, what is a parity? I need not to explain. In the previous classes, I have told that the parity is the most common error detection. Okay, the point is the number of ones which I am going to receive it. Okay, now here we will look at that, how it is going to be happen. Okay, so the first and foremost point which we are going to look at is a simple parity check. So in the simple parity check, what we are going to do in this technique, a redundant bit called a parity bit is added to every data unit so that the total number of ones in the unit becomes even or odd. Either you are going to use the even parity or odd parity. Okay. So here, if you are going to look at an example, now here, so 3, 3, 6, 7 is there. Okay. So now what you are going to do? So here, you will use that parity bit, you will use the number of, okay, based on the parity, you will check for the number of bits and then you will add that. If you are using a even bit, what you are going to do? So sender is going to see. Now you are going to have a data. See, this is an example. Whenever sender wants to transmit, it is coming to the transmission medium. So here what it is going to be happen? It is going to calculate the parity. Now here it is going to use this. Based upon the 3 number of ones are there, it is adding 1 to convert it into even, parity. Now the point is, after receiving at the receiver end, now all the bits it is going to receive, and then the count bits, it is counting it. Now when it is counting the number of ones, if it is even, because this, you see, if you are using even, you have to keep even in this checkbox. If you are using odd, you have to keep odd in this checkbox, okay, in this particular checker function. So now here in our case even, so I have sent the even number of ones during the transmission. Now it is checking. So if the even number of ones are there, yes, and drop the parity bit and accept the data, okay. Otherwise what you are supposed to do, it is not even, then reject the data. So this is the simple way it is going to be happen, okay. So now here, when you are going to use a simple parity check code, is a single bit error detecting code in which n is equal to k plus 1. Now the point is, where in block coding n is equal to k plus r we have told. K plus r we have told, but here in the simple parity check, n is equal to k plus 1 only one bit we are going to use, okay, and with a dmin of only 2, that is nothing but which can detect up to correctly only for 1 bit error only, according to our dmin concept, okay. So now the point is, dmin is equal to what we said in the Hamming distance when we are going to look at that, okay. So we will say that s plus 1 is nothing but, now here I can say that, okay, so that is 1 plus 1. So I can say that only the 1 bit error can be used for this one, okay. So now here, if you are going to look at the parity check of C of 5 by 5 comma 4, now when you are going to look at that, so the 4 data words are converted into this. Now here 1 is there, I have to use the even parity. So how I have to add 1 more bit, that is what, 1 or 0, 1, okay. I have added this parity bit. Now here 0 0 1 0 odd, so I am adding another 1. This is in a even parity, so I need to add 0. So like this we have done it. Now at the receiver end, what is going to be happen, you can have a look at that, okay. So encoder and decoder for simple parity check, how it is going to be happen, okay. Everyone has to note down this particular thing first, and then we will have a look at of this particular thing. So now here, what we are going to do, in a sense, in the encoder function, what we are going to do, whatever the 4 bits were there, your A0, A1, A2, A3. So now here, if you are going to look at that, these things are from your A0 to A3, okay, if you are going to talk about, okay. So now here what we are going to do, each one you are going to give it to a generator, and your generator is going to check with your data word, and based upon that it is going to create a parity bit R0, and which will be added in the code word. That is what you have seen that, okay. Then at the receiver end, what you are going to do, in the sense, at the receiver end, again I need to do a checker function, isn't it? So here it is a generator function, and here it is a checker function, as we have seen in the model. In the block coding model, which I have shown to you people that, okay. So now here, when we are going to look at in the checker function, now what we are going to do, I will use the B1, B0, B1, B2, B3, and along with that Q0, I am going to use this R0 as a Q0 now, okay. So now when I am going to give it a checker, and here I am going to generate a syndrome value, okay. So now the syndrome S0, now if the S0, that is what I have told, no, if it is at even parity, if the syndrome is 0, accept, okay, and then discard. Now this is a decision decision logic which you are supposed to use it. Now here, if you are going to look at an example, let us look at some transmission scenarios. Assume sender sends a data word 1011. Okay, and 1011, the code is what? I need to add extra one because three number of ones are there. I have to add one more one. Okay, so now which is sent to the receiver. Now here we will look at that. First case, no errors occurred. Now that is nothing but this is received by the receiver. So the received code word is 10111. So the syndrome is what? 0. It is at even parity. So the data code word, the data word is going to be, your decision logic is going to work, and it is going to take your A0, A1, A2, A3, and it is going to retrieve it. Okay. Then second case, look at one single bit error is changes A1. Okay. So now here A1 is changed. Now the point is here you have to look at that. This is 0, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, and this is your R parity. Okay. So now what we are saying that A1 is changed. A1 is nothing but this point. This bit is changed. Now that is nothing but 1 0 0 1 1. Now here you can have a look at that 1 0 0 1 1. So now at the receiver end, what is happening now? When all these 5 bits you are given, syndrome is going to say that okay, you need to have 1. Okay, because so here it is odd parity. Okay, so the syndrome is 1. When the syndrome is 1, what it should do? It should discard it. It should discard it. Okay, see, no data word is created and it is going to be discarded. Then one single bit error changes R0. So you means you are going to say that, sir, if the parity bit only is going to change it, then okay. Now you can have a look at that. Now the received code word is 10110. Now the point is here what happened? So this is changed. Sorry, in this one, this is no. So in this one, this is changed. Okay. So 10110. So now how many ones are there? 3. So syndrome is going to give it as 1. Syndrome is 1. So it is going to be discarded. But the point is, this is only for parity, is only for 1, I said. If suppose we are going to look at that, there are 2 bits were changed. You see, an error changes R0 and a second error changes A3. Okay. So when I am going to talk about, this is changed to 1 to 0 and A3. Okay. So what is the code word which we have chosen? See, 0 1 2 3. So that is nothing but this first bit 1. So that is changed to 0. So now 0 0 1 1 0. Now what happened? The syndrome is resulting as 0 because 2 bits were changed. So now the data code word is 0 0 1 is created at the receiver. Note that here the data word is wrongly created due to the syndrome value. Now this is a very important one which you keep it in your mind whenever the 2 bits were changed. So now another one, when you are going to look at the 3 bits were changed, A3, A2, A1. Okay. So now here what is going to be happen? Now your syndrome is 1 again. Now when your syndrome is 1, so the data word is not created and it will be discarded. So now this shows that the simple parity check guarantees to detect one single error, can also find any odd number of errors only. Please note on that. This is the important point over here for the simple parity. Okay, so the simple parity check, everyone you have understood, can detect an odd number of errors only. Okay. So all Hamming codes discussed in this book have dmin is 3. So now here when we are going to use that, how we can do that particular thing. So in that particular situation, so the relationship between m and n, these codes is n is equal to 2m minus 1. Now here if you are going to look at that, we will use the 2-dimensional parity check. Okay. So when we are going to use the 2-dimensional parity check, okay, now here you can have a look at. So here you can have a look at that. See, now let us discuss a category of error correcting codes called Hamming codes. Now these codes were originally designed for D-3, okay, that means they can detect up to 2 errors or correct one single error. Now, so here how it is going to be happen? Let us find the relationship between n and k, okay. So we need to choose an integer m is greater than or equal to 3. So the value of n and k are then calculated from m as n is equal to 2 to the power of m minus 1. 2 to the power of m minus 1. Please, you have to note down this. Okay. So example, if you are going to look at that, if m is 3, n is what? 2 to the power of m. 2 to the power of m is 2 to the power of 3. That is nothing but 8. So 8 minus 1, that is how much? 7. Okay. And your k, you are supposed to take k. So k is 4 when you are going to talk about. So this is the Hamming code C of 7, 4 with the d min is 3. Now you can have a look at of this particular thing. Okay. So now here, when you are going to look at, this is what is going to happen. So your k is 4 and your n is 7. N is equal to what? 2 to the power of m minus 1. Okay. So that is 7. So now your 4 code words, 4-bit word data word is converted into 7-bit code word. That is, we are going to call it as Hamming code of C of 7, 4, so that it is going to be accepted. Then apart from that, when you are going to look at, okay, so even in the simple parity, when we have checked that, okay, odd number of this and all, now here a better approach is the 2-dimensional parity check in this method. So now here, when you are going to look at that figure 10.1111, when you are looking at that, okay, the data to be sent 5 7-bit bytes. How many? 5. Okay. Are put in a separate rows. Now you can have a look at, put it in a separate rows. Now here you are going to look at the design of rows and column parity. Now you are going to look at, now based on that it is going to take, see 1 1 1. So parity is 1 1 1 1 is parity 1. So this is what we are going to call it as a 2-dimensional parity. So which is going to be happen. See, for each row and each column, one parity check bit is calculated. The whole table is then sent to the receiver, which finds the syndrome for each row and column, and means you are going to send more and more together. This is a better approach. We are going to say that. Okay. So 2-dimensional parity check can detect up to 3 errors that occur anywhere in the table. Now here, if you are going to look at that, so this is how exactly it's going to be happen. Now you see, whenever there is any change is there, okay, whenever there is any change is there over here, it is going to be identified. So now here, if one bit is changing in that, how it is going to be reflected? Now here, if you are going to look at that, one error affect 2 parties. One error affect 2 parties. So here, if this one bit is changing that, okay, now you see this parity is going to be changed, and even in this also the parity is going to be changed too. So if the 2 errors are there, then there is no effect. See, 2 error affect 2 parties only. Okay, and when you are going to look at, if the 3 errors can affect 4 parties, now you can have a look at different places, and 4 errors cannot be detected. Now you see, if it is going to be in like this, 1 0 is changed to 1, 1 1 is changed to 0, then it is undetectable. So cannot be detected. So this is another important point which you people have to remember that. Okay. So now the structure of encoder and decoder for your this is like how we have done this. Okay. So when C of 7, 4 when we are taken, C of 7, 4 when we have taking it. When we are taking it, how the structure is going to be there. Now, because in the previous case, what happened, your syndrome is not given a correct value when there is a multiple errors. But here, when I'm going to have multiple errors also, I want to see that, okay, it should give me the correct answer. So for that particular thing, I should replace the syndrome. Okay, you look at in the previous Yeah. See, here you are going to have only syndrome, but instead of only here you have used 1. But when we are using the say 7 or 4, now here, now you are supposed to look at this is a what exactly R0, R1, R2, A0, A1, A2, A3. You are going to send it, and here this is how you are going to do that. Please note on that the correction logic, what you are going to do. Now the correction logic, now here what we are going to do, we need to compute not only the syndrome value, we need to calculate S0, S1, S2 syndrome values. Now here, if we are going to look at that the syndrome, okay, now the logical decision made by the, okay, we are going to do the early, okay. So if the S0, S1, S2, the syndrome, if we are going to get all zeros, then no error. If suppose 001, so your Q0 beta is error, 010 Q1 is error, 011 is B2, 100 is Q2, okay. So like B0, B3, B1 errors. So B0, B1, B2, B3, Q0, Q1, Q2. Okay, so total these things are there. So now these are the errors which you are going to look at that. Based upon that, we are going to accept it, okay, or reject it. So we are going to take it there into consideration. So now here, if you are going to look at that, trace the path of 3 data words from the sender to destination. Please go through with that, and if any doubt is that you ask me, just note down one by one. First one. Look at the first scenario. So here when we are going to have the data word 0100 becomes the code word. Now here you have to look at in the table. What is the value we have? 0100. Okay, 0100. Okay, so it is going to be converted into 010011. Okay, now here if you are going to look at that 0100 and 011, we are doing it. So now you look at that, the code word is received. When the code word is received, the same thing, there is no change. The code word is no change. Then your syndrome is 000. Then when your syndrome is 000, then there is no error. So simply you can accept. So the final data word is 0100. Dear friends, so here if you are going to look at that, if the data word which I am sending that, okay, 011 and becomes 01110001. Okay, so when I'm going to talk about this, now what is going to be happen in the syndrome? When I'm going to do the syndrome, okay, so now the received code word is different. So now your syndrome is going to find not 000. It is, you are going to get 011. Okay. So now after flipping the B2, that is nothing but changing the 1 to 0, and the final code word is 0111. Okay. So now the syndrome, if you are going to look at the 011, so that is nothing but what? B2. So now the B2 is the error. So now what you should do, the B2 has to be changed from 1 to 0 so that you are going to get your correct answer. Okay. So like this, we are going to use this particular thing. Okay. Hamming distance. Okay. Over here. So even we are going to do various examples are there. Okay. So this is what exactly, how exactly we are going to do in that burst by using the Hamming distance. Okay. I hope it is clear to you people. So then we are going to have cyclic codes, which we will see in tomorrow's class. Okay. So everyone have understood the Hamming distance. And so dear friends, so here I would like to tell you one important example also. Okay. One important things, please note down that. So dear friends, Computer Communication and Network Technologies by William Hancock. Please note down this. Computer Communications and Networking Technologies by William Hancock. And here if you look at that, okay, here you can search single bit error correction in the appendix, you are going to have one beautiful example in the page number 571. A beautiful solved one example is given, okay, using parity for single bit error correction, okay, error correction that you can use, okay. So as an example for you people, you can understand that. If you are not going to get it, also I will explain, don't worry, okay. So I hope you have understood that block coding and linear coding. Please post in the chat. Have you understood the block coding and linear coding? What happened? Only 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. So thank you all. So we will discuss about the cyclic codes in tomorrow's class. We'll discuss about the cyclic codes in tomorrow's class.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.